Echo, Marvel's Echo. It's here. It was a Christmas season, so I was spending family time. I had family come down and everything, and I'm finally getting back to doing this. And Echo dropped. I knew it was coming. But I missed posting this video by a day or two. But Echo is out, starring the incredible Vincent D'Onofrio and Aquila Cox, I think, is Aliqua Fox, I believe is how you say her name. I may have butchered it. It started out really strong. It's giving you some backstory about who she is, and it's telling you a little bit about, I guess, her abilities. In the comics, her abilities are what Taskmaster in the MCU is supposed to be, being able to mimic the movements of other people. Now, she can't mimic superhuman abilities. She can't fly. She can't punch through a wall. But if you're a martial artist, she can mimic your abilities. She's got your skill. If you're a race car driver, she can mimic your abilities. She's got your skill. A skier, a tennis player, a boxer, anyone whose skill relies on certain movements, she can mimic. So I'm wondering actually if she can mimic magical things, because she mimics movements and certain gestures allow for that. I don't know, but I know she can mimic physical movements, which is the reason she's called Echo. You do a thing, now she can do a thing. She just echoed your thing. They changed that in the show a little bit. They go back to the what if, where the young lady had the magical abilities given to her from the Infinity Stone, passed down through her generation, where she has superhuman abilities. The things appear on her hands, the circles, and she can do stuff. That happens to Echo and his Maya. It happens to her in this show, except she can mimic things that her ancestors did. One of her ancestors was a great shot. All of a sudden, boom, she's a great shot. One of her ancestors was a tough, fierce fighter. Boom, she's a tough, fierce fighter. So I think what they're going to do, instead of having her have the exact same abilities as Taskmaster in the MCU, which I did not like, what they're going to do, I think, is through her lineage, people who have been able to do certain things, she will be able to do them also. They kind of gave us a flash of that. It's a good way. It's a good substitute for it. Because if you think about all the people in your lineage, your father, your grandfather, your great-great-grandfather, your uncles, your cousins, everybody that came before you, that's a part of your bloodline, or with her, probably just her tribe, then all of those people's abilities she can mimic. So that was kind of cool. She kind of used it. She didn't really use it until the last 10 minutes of the last episode, but then it was like, look what I can do. And she could do the things that her ancestors could. And sort of like when they show Vixen mimicking powers in the DC universe, she mimics a lion. You can see the outline of a lion. When Maya was mimicking things, her ancestor was standing behind her. So there was a series of ancestors behind her, and she just acquired their powers. Two other things that she was able to do. She was able to give this ability to relatives. So she gave it to two of her relatives. She passed along that power to them. And she just instantly knew she could do it, because she's like, don't worry. I've got this, or something like that. And then she's like, what? And she gives them the power. So I'm assuming that because of magic, she instantly knew all of her abilities and how to use them and perfect them. and such. Then she also could do a thing that her mother could do. Her mother could put her hands together and heal people. And she got that ability. And she zaps the Kingpin with it. And I don't know that it actually did anything, because he's going to do stuff in the future where he's still a bad guy. So I think she was trying to erase his anger and everything, and she might have, but he's still a bad dude. You know, she might have gotten rid of the rage, but not the purpose. So he's still a bad guy. Like I said, it was a good show. It started out giving you some backstory on her, how she lost her leg, why most of her family speaks in sign language. They're not all deaf, but because she is, they learn so that they can communicate with her, American Sign Language. And that was kind of cool. Then on her first mission, she meets Daredevil, and she gives him a fair fight. It's Daredevil. You know, there's not many people in all of comic books that are going to stand up toe-to-toe with Matt Murdock and give him the business. Nobody, well, not nobody, but a lot of people are going to catch, you know, heck, fist fighting with him. Without superpowers, without a special suit, without a special weapon, you just get up in your boxes and fist fight with Daredevil, you're probably going to catch a beating. But she was able to survive the beating. You know, there were other people in the room, and Matt just beat the brakes off of everybody. But he fought her, and he had to give her his full attention in order to get her. He didn't beat her up, he just beat her off of him, you know. And then he left. He decided not to beat her unconscious. He didn't have a problem punching a woman in the face, but I guess he didn't just want to, you know, brutalize her, so he left. But she was able to hang with him a little bit, which impressed the Kingpin. And that first episode it impressed me too, because I didn't think, especially first episode, that she could fight Daredevil. You know, he tried to hit her with his billy club, and she kicked the billy club, and you could hear the boom. So I'm thinking, with his heightened senses, he had to have known she had a metallic leg. And he didn't use that he didn't like yank a leg off. And then, I don't know how those things work. I don't know if you can just grab one and yank it off or whatever. It looked like she just kind of suction cupped it on there. But I don't know the intricacies of that device, so I can't say. But not knowing, I would have grabbed it and tried to just yank it off of her leg, you know, kick me down. But it was a good fight. It was a good fight. After that, she does have other fights. There is more action, but I don't want to say it becomes a family story, because you got to remember, this is the House of the Mouse. So it's not going to be 100% Netflix style Daredevil violence, man, which I would have appreciated. I dig violence, but they did not do that. They gave it, it was really just telling, you know, how she goes from being a kid to being Kingpin's assassin to being a family member again. She joins her family again. I think that's the end of her story. They may continue it. Given her extra abilities and her youth, she may be a part of the Young Avengers, but I bet 27 cents that she probably will not be. But, I mean, Loki's probably going to join the team. He's murdered people. I don't know. I don't know. You know, we'll see, I guess. But again, because of her newfound abilities and because of her youth, they might be going that way with her. This show was good. It was not what I was expecting. I was expecting, you know, because they had the mature audience tag on it. So I was expecting a mature audience. You know, I was expecting, oh, you can't watch this with no children in the room because there's gonna be blood and guts and blood and stuff. Nah, it was. I mean, it was. People did get shot, but it wasn't like a lot of blood splatter or anything like that. You know, nobody stood over nobody choking them until their eyes rolled. It wasn't like super violent, but it was violent. People got thrown through walls, through glass, you know. They were like, what can we do to make this violent without really making it violent? And that's what they did. I think they were testing the waters to see what they could get away with in order to do more in the future. I would give this Echo. I would give it a good strong, because they threw the violence in there, but I definitely did not like the ending, and there were a lot of really slow parts that I think a little action scene, a little sprinkle, a little more action in there would have been better. Still, I'm going to give this a strong 7. 7 bags of popcorn. Because that's what I think about that. More importantly, what do you think about that? Now that we had a chance to talk about the video, let's talk about it some more in the comments. And as always, if you like the video, if you like the content, subscribe. And then like.
Popcorn passport. Get your popcorn passport.